Welcome everyone to the panel discussion on accelerating your tech career. I am Tracetta Briggs, Chief Performance Officer of Performance 3, which is a national leadership development firm. I am joined by a highly credentialed panel with vast experience in the tech industry. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. So let me introduce them. First, Dewan Neely. Dewan is the COO of 1150 Academy. Dewan is focused on the 1150 Academy's mission of transforming individuals and communities through the discovery of purpose, development of values, immersive, relevant 21st century skill training, and thoughtful community programs. Prior to joining the Academy, Neely spent 15 years serving in state government, with the last 4 years of his state tenure as director of the Indiana Office of Technology and the State Information Officer. He had been appointed by both Governor Mike Pence and Governor Eric Holcomb to the role as Indiana's CIO. He's held executive committee and director roles on the board for the National Association of State Chief Information Officers, and served as an external advisory board member for the Center for Education and Research in Information, Assurance and Security. He is currently a foundation board member for Goodwill. Neely received his undergraduate degree from Purdue University School of Technology and his MBA from Indiana Wesleyan University. Ooh, Indiana Wesleyan, that is my school as well, and I know it's Ariel's. All right. 160 character vision. Dewan is focused on the 1150 Academy's mission of transforming lives using relevant 21st century skill training and thoughtful community programs. Welcome, Dewan. Next is Linda Calvin. Linda Calvin joined Ivy Tech Community College as Vice President of the School of Information Technology in April 2019. In her role, Linda provides professional leadership in the development of quality standards and consistency in academic courses, ensuring curriculum is relevant to the industry, training, and other programs to serve the information technology sector. Linda partners with employers to sponsor School of IT activities, identify opportunities to recruit talent from the School of IT, coordinate internships, voice IT curriculum, and consult on trends in technology and market demand. Linda has over 20 years of experience working in IT in the private sector. She's also on the board of Women in High Tech, Kids Voice of Indiana, the Indiana Technology and Innovation Association, and serves as a mentor for the Starfish Initiative. Linda graduated from Butler University in 2001, cum laude, with a BA in journalism and high honors in public communication. In 2008, she earned her Juris Doctor from the Indiana University McKinney School of Law, Indianapolis. Next, we have Rebecca Borman. Rebecca has spent nearly 20 years in tech. She's the Managing Director of Sales for Bell Technologics, a national IT managed services firm headquartered in Indianapolis. She also serves as the President of the Board for Women and High Tech. Rebecca is an emeritus board member for the Brandon Foundation, whose mission is to show students the power of their potential academically and socially. She is also a mentor and a pass the torch for Women Legacy Leader. Additionally, Rebecca co-founded R&D Networking, a local Indianapolis professional networking group. She is also an active member of Heartland Church. And last but certainly not least, we have Ariel Crawley. Serves as community engagement for Indie Women in Tech. For 3 years, Ariel served as the director of Ivy Tech's Indie Women in Tech, helping to start that program. In that role, she won the 2019 TechPoint Mira Award for Tech Educator of the Year. Ariel is a business management graduate from Indiana Wesleyan University. She is also mother to 13-year-old Jayla. So, welcome to this great panel. We're going to have some excellent conversation. Thank you all for being here. So, I want to preface our discussion by sharing a few facts. We all know the importance, of course, of diversity, inclusion, and equity in the workforce, and the value that different viewpoints, perspectives, opinions, and ideas bring to the development of new ideas and innovation. That thinking has been proven over and over again. So here's some great stats about diversity from Bailey Reuters from builtin.com. Companies with highly gender diverse executive teams are found to be 21% more likely to outperform on profitability. Powerful, right? Diverse teams are 87% better at making decisions. That's close to 100%. Diverse companies enjoy 2.3 higher cash flow per employee. So if the other two didn't get you, that one I'm sure would. 2.3 times higher cash flow per employee. But with those great facts, here's some not so great facts. Women make up only 28% of the workforce in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. And men vastly outnumber women majoring in most STEM fields in college. Minorities, in October 2019, a survey indicated that the combined Black, Hispanic, and Indigenous population at 5% for Silicon Valley firms, but overall, according to the US Equal Opportunity Commission Bureau, that estimated to be about 16%, with Asians accounting for another 14%. So there is clearly more work to be done, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's start with, I know all of you work together on some great collaborations, and you're helping to mitigate those not so great stats. So let's talk about those collaborations and how they're helping influence and accelerate women and marginalized populations, so they can gain more access to careers in tech. So I'll start with Duan. You have a lot of great collaborations in the community. Tell us more about those collaborations.
Well, thanks, Trissetta. The one we're really excited about at 1150 Academy is our initiative that was funded by the Lilly Endowment with Martin University and several other partners, in which we're specifically targeting the audience in the 46218 area code, or zip code, sorry. The current incoming adult students from Martin University in that area, as well as students that may be at Goodwill's Excel Center and congregation members at Eastern Star Church. And the goal of that really is to, give a population that traditionally may not have seen or been really involved in the tech space or thought about the tech space, but bring that to them and show them some new pathways, some new opportunities, and perhaps them a little bit of excitement in that area, and ultimately lead to some jobs that can help give them a career and a path for sustainability and long-term financial security. Martin University is the primary collaborator on that. We're going to use their facility. They're going to create the tech hub. They also want to try to support a 2-gen approach. We know that many of these students have families and children, and so being able to bring them both in and embrace them both and help both with some digital skills will be great. And then, as I mentioned, Goodwill will help with their Excel Center population and creating pathways from there. Eastern Star and InnoPower will just help with getting the word out to parents and students about these new pathways that are available. And then we also have some great partners with Employee Indy, Bell Tech, where Rebecca's at, have all committed to helping from the employer side with interviews and giving, as we have our first graduates of these cohorts, interviews and chances to get that first job in technology. And so really excited that a group of that size and that different variety and background can come together with the sole focus of really just focusing on 46218.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Some powerful collaborations. How about the rest of you? Just feel free to share the collaborations that you got going on in the community and how they're helping women and marginalized populations to get more access. Let's start. Go ahead, Linda. Why don't you start?
Oh, well, thank you. And so at Ivy Tech, we have a very robust, it's It's called Career Coaching and Employer Connections Function. And we've established a number of relationships with employer partners, talking with them about our programs so they can hire our students, because that's our product. Our product is students, right? So we've had conversations just recently because we're introducing a brand new program, a cloud program with multiple cloud credentials. Cloud is just so hot. And you want to talk about getting people to work in a high wage, high demand area. Cloud is right up there along with cybersecurity. And so we're partnering with companies like Accenture, talking to companies like IU Health, Lilly, Anthem, to hire our students. And we're partnering also with organizations like Trek 10 and Clean Slate and a whole host of other organizations say, hey, look, we want you at the table to help voice this curriculum to make sure that it's right, because we want our students to have those great skills. So when they graduate, you're just like, oh, they're chomping at the bit to get our students. And so those are the types of relationships we have with employer partners, but we're also partnering with InnoPower as an example to say, how do we work with you to get the word out, to do more outreach? In the School of IT, I've created a Black Tech Thought Leader Network, talking with them about, hey, help us understand how we need to reach out to the community and be connected. And then we've just worked with a number, and of course, IWIT, we have a program called Ivy Works at Ivy Tech Indianapolis campus, targeting women, because we know, I mean, women are vastly underrepresented, as you reported, but they're only 4% of the computing roles today are held by women of color. 4%. That's crazy. But so we have Ivy Works to say, hey, you know what? This great program in collaboration with IWIT, and we provide mentoring that runs alongside you to help you when you're in the program with Pass the Torch for Women, but then wrap around services on another side. So if you're in a situation where you can't get to campus, we're going to help you get to campus.
Awesome.
We need to help you get some childcare. We're going to do that. But we're here to encourage you, nurture you to completion. And we do multiple things that way. We address that issue of underrepresentation of women. We encourage more women of color. If you're out there right after you watch this session, find out more about these tech opportunities, because we desperately need that representation. So those are just a few of the things that we're doing, and it's just really exciting to be here and share this with you today.
And I'm certainly, that's great. I'm certainly hearing a theme of whole family concept. And that is so powerful for success, right? We need our family support, our village, and all those things. So bringing them to the table and positioning people for success. How about you, Rebecca?
Yeah,
Collaborations.
I'm happy to say that Women High Tech has partnered with everyone here in different ways, and it's definitely one of our core strategies to work with corporations, collegiate institutions, and other community organizations to really change the landscape of women represented in STEM to be equally inclusive to all. So just a couple of examples. So we have a couple of programs where we really work to inspire K through 12 girls to take an interest in science, technology, engineering, and math. Because we all know you got to reach them before middle school, because that's where they really start to fall off and think that, you know, math is for boys and not for girls and such. So with Indie Women in Tech, Connor Prairie, and probably about 50 different corporate and collegiate like exhibitors and sponsors, we put on, not last year because of the pandemic, but we put on an event with them called Ignite Your Superpowers, where we've partnered with the public middle schools, and we have over 700 middle school girls, 6th and 7th graders, come into IUPUI, or it's been at U of Indy, to have this like STEM day during the school week, and the girls get bussed in, their teachers come, but we also have about 350 volunteers that volunteer to serve lunch, help set up, help tear down, and also be superheroes, if you will, for the girls. Most of the volunteers are, women, and including diverse women and men and diverse men, to answer these girls' questions, and to just I think everybody's been there that's on this, to see the light on their eyes and their excitement when they're at the Lilly Science booth extracting, DNA from a strawberry, or when, the police usually have an exhibit there, and they talk about fingerprints and how we're all like so unique. And Codalicious comes and teaches the girls how to make robots, draw on a paper. Like, it's amazing, and it takes a village, to use a term that we all know, to do something like that, and it's just incredible. Ivy Tech is a sponsor of Women in High Tech. Linda is on the board. Dr. Elsprin is extremely supportive. She offers us our venues to host our events. We do collegiate panels for Ivy Tech students. So super involved in the partnership there. Same with 1150. They've sponsored grants. We give away scholarships to women and girls studying STEM every year. They've sponsored grants. Ivy Tech has done the same thing. We've had panels that come talk to the Ivy Tech, the 1150 students in the past. So yeah, look, we partner with organizations like Girls Inc., the Girl Scouts. We have conversations with organizations like 100 Black Men to come join our Male Allies events. So I think, we just keep on growing. We all have the same, mission here, equity and inclusion for all. So we can leverage each other to help make a bigger impact.
Excellent. And it certainly sounds like Women in High Tech is doing some powerful leveraging. That was a lot of great collaborations.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Ariel, how about you? I know you're involved in some great collaborations.
Yeah, I feel like kind of everybody already tooted our horn a little bit, but with Indie Women in Tech, to what Rebecca was saying, we do host the Ignite Your Superpower event, where we do partner with Women in High Tech to host that event. We are doing things a little bit differently this year just because of the pandemic. We're not able to get as many school-age children into close proximity as we would like. So we're looking at more of a virtual setting, but that's something we've been able to host. And as Rebecca was saying, really highlight the fact that we're introducing young ladies not only to STEM and STEM activities and what actually do you do as a scientist, as in mathematics, in engineering, but also what is a college campus. There's so many middle school girls here that have not been to IUPUI or IU or U of Indy, even though they're in close proximity. So a lot of times that event is opening their eyes into higher ed, and we love that. Also, to go on to what Linda was saying, we are partnered with Ivy Tech, Central Indiana. We partnered with the Ivy Works Indie Women in Tech program. It's been a program going on for about 5 years now, which we're very excited about, where we've been graduating young ladies who are earning over 68% of their income, thanks to the fact that we are not only giving them scholarships, sometimes full scholarships, so they can earn a degree or a certificate in software development, computer engineering, cybersecurity, but also to what Linda was saying, they get that child support assistance, they're getting emergency care, they're getting professional development, they're getting mentorship. So we really put our programs on. Not only are we helping you to get to where you need to go, we're also making sure you have those supports in place. So while you're learning the academic piece, you're also getting that professional development assistance. So when you come out, you not only know what you need to know, the languages, the tools, products, things of that nature, but you also already have in a built-in network, you already have been built-in mentors, and some of those barriers from a financial standpoint have already been removed. So when you're going from working part-time to now working full-time, but I don't have childcare. We're there to assist you. If you're needing assistance with, hey, my engine ran out or my lights are about to be cut off, but I got to finish this final. Let us help you get over that last barrier so that you can walk across the stage. And then same thing with Dewan at 1150. We offer scholarships to their students as well, as well as some professional development support. So we help them out with their mock interviews. We're doing something called office hours, where we bring in ladies from the local tech community to come and talk to students and just say, hey, I've been exactly where you were. I was at 1150 3 years ago. I had no idea what I was doing, but I got through it. And now I'm a software manager and I love it. And here's some of the tips. So we really like the fact that not only are we helping these ladies, but we're also getting them to come back and share their story and say, I have been exactly where you were. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard, but it's not impossible. So we really appreciate that fact and having all our partners here with us right now.
All right. And, you know, there's so many great things you said, Ariel, because I was a single mother in college. And if it wasn't for those support systems I had from my village, I don't think I would have made it. So I love everything that you're all saying about that whole family concept and bringing people together to help support that. Because there have been some times when I didn't have my car stopped. Yeah, we can relate, right? All right, so collaborations are key. So with all the collaborations and the opportunities that you guys have shared, there's still obviously some gaps based on those stats and numbers. So what do you think is preventing marginalized women and marginalized populations from effectively utilizing all those opportunities? What are misconceptions, barriers, types that are preventing access? We'll start with whoever would like to start. Go ahead.
Well, and this is, it's one of my biggest things, and I just spoke on Monday to a group of students and about this very thing. I think one of the things that prevents is the fact that we capture everything in tech as coding. Coding is foundational. So you do need to understand it. I can tell you, so I spent 20 years, I'll say 20 plus years in IT. I'm more of the mature person, like the aged wine. And so, and that means I remember card readers. But so what happens is you do need to understand it. And I took coding classes and I can tell you I'm terrible at coding. However, what I do know is I understand how it's foundational to the tech. I understand, and it helps me understand how to talk with my colleagues and with others that I'm going to work with. But not everything in tech is coding. So I think that's one thing, because if you're not interested in coding and that's what you think, then you're like, okay, well, tech's not for me, right? We also tend to box it in as you need to have a computer science degree. I am a journalism, as you read off, I am a journalism undergrad with a Juris Doctor, and I've worked in tech, again, for over 20 years. So granted, nowadays, there are so many opportunities where you can get specific degrees. And, you know, at Ivy Tech, we have a lot of associate's degree and other credentials in various, in about 9 different programs. However, it's not just about computer science. And so that can be a barrier too, because it's viewed as, oh, well, it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna be able to do the math. I'm not really strong in science, or those things that unfortunately, you know, some, especially women, are raised not to go into science. That's science and math. That's for boys. You know what you should do? You should, Linda, you would be great. And I heard this growing up. You'd be great in marketing, or how about being like an ambassador for France? And I was like, okay, Rebecca's making a face. But yeah. So I think those are some key barriers. And the other thing is we need to do a better job of mapping the passion to tech. So instead of talking about the fact that you need to smash code in Python, which may mean nothing to you, we need to say, what is it that you like to do? Okay, are you fascinated by how beautiful websites look? You know, are you fascinated by these apps and and how things look on the phone, there's something called user experience. And we can teach you how to design those experiences. Are you going to be exposed to coding? You are, but it's not going to be the majority of what you focus on, because you also have to incorporate those design concepts, right? Or hey, does your auntie call you every single time her Wi-Fi's out? She just got Alexa. She can't figure out how to install it. Right. So many people are going, yeah, Ring doorbell. You know, I imagine, Jawan, being CIO, you were tech support for your entire family. Right. So, and if you share your text, if you share your cell phone, Jawan, I'll call you for tech support. So, but I mean, if you have those things that every time a family member calls and needs help and you're the one that's helping them, maybe you should pursue a degree in IoT and IT support. So that's the way we need to talk to people about tech, is what is your passion? Because there's probably an opportunity for you in tech or even tech adjacent. We're working with Bell Technologics, Moser, AIS right now to create a tech sales credential, because maybe you are just brilliant at marketing, right? Yes. And you understand tech. We need more people like that. So I think those are just a few of the barriers, is how we talk about it, and then doing a better job talking to young people about it, and then encouraging the kid and the parent to come and join and learn at the same time.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, certainly, Linda, you covered quite a bit about the barriers and some of the misconceptions and stereotypes. What would the rest of you add to that in terms of barriers, misconceptions, or stereotypes? And you know, about a minute, maybe 2 minutes or less, to make sure that we have time to cover everything we'd like. So whoever would like to go next. Ariel, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
I would say I'm going to go on the other side of the spectrum from Linda. Mine would be corporate partnerships. So all of us around this group just mentioned each other. We're all within the higher ed or the nonprofit world. We don't really have too many partnerships with corporate. Now, we do have some great sponsorships. We're not saying don't give us money, because we definitely need it, but we're providing you with great students. You know that these students are getting scholarships and able to perform. Hire them. So don't just talk to us about, oh, what are you doing for funding? What are your funding needs? When we come to you and we say our needs is that we have 15 ladies who just graduated from 1150 and Ivy Tech in May. They need employment. What do you have that's available? Return our calls. So just with that piece of it, just remember that this is a cycle. We're not bringing these people into tech for nothing, especially within minority groups. Minority groups are likely to stay in tech for about 3 to 5 years and then they leave. Women are likely to stay 5 to 7 years and then they leave. So we can't keep bringing you this great pipeline, and then once they get to your area, they leave. It's making our work harder, and it's honestly wasting the money that you're giving us to do what we need to do. Yes. So just remember that we need corporate support, and corporate support can be financial. Please give your money, but also make sure that you're committing yourself to hire minorities, hire women, and work through our organizations to do so. 1150, Ivy Tech, Women in High Tech, Indie Women in Tech. They're all great groups where you can get great minority and women leaders who just need a chance to thrive and support within your organization. And you'll be able to reach some of those statistics that you mentioned in your opening.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so let's go to Rebecca.
Thank you.
She's share some good information.
I want to say, like, literally amen to what Linda and Ariel have said. I mean, I've been in tech 20 years. I've never taken a single coding class. I haven't had to do anything with coding in my career. I'm also a college dropout. I mean, just like for full transparency. Now, I'm blessed that when I found a tech career, the company that I work for helped me go back to school, and I graduated with a business and a communications degree from Indiana Wesleyan. But it doesn't have to look, I think it needs to look a certain way, and it doesn't. And I would say, beyond all the things that I completely agree with that Ariel and Linda said, it's about intentionality from the business community about wanting to be equitable, inclusive, and give people a place to belong. And so I think it takes, all of us in our community going back to our businesses. I work for a private company and saying this is what we need to do. It's because it's the right thing to do. It's because make us a better company. So I think it's intentional strategy, planning, and then execution. No more lip service.
Mm-hmm. So let's, and I know, Dewan, we want to give you an opportunity to talk about how the great programs you do reduce those barriers, misconceptions, and stereotypes. So go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I just wanted to throw the one thing that wasn't mentioned that I'd like to throw out there too is the misconceptions that tech is for white males. When you look at, the tech stratosphere of the guys up there, you're looking at Elon Musk, you're looking at Jeff Bezos, you're looking at Bill Gates, and that's some of the misconceptions we got to change. That's why I really applaud the programs like IWIT and Ariel provide for those wraparound services for women, because once we get them in the classroom, having that network that they can ask questions that maybe they're afraid to ask peers, or they can ask suggestions, or when they see all these men in the class and they're like, where are the other women? They have someone they can lean on and say, hey, it's okay. We're changing this. Just keep going. It's going to be fine. We need more of that. And we're looking at ways to create that for, our people of color and the other folks, not just our women, to make sure they feel comfortable and they have the support they need when they reach those uncomfortable situations and feel like, hey, maybe this isn't a fit. And we got to be able to say, yeah, you are a fit, and here's how you get there, and we're going to help you get there.
Yes, excellent. And so you've all alluded to it, and you're getting lots of love in the chat. Shelby, I think Linda, when you were talking, she said she'd love more information, and she's put her email in the chat. And Shelly Woods, whoa, Linda just rocked the tech world with what's available that doesn't require programming. I got to tell you guys, I do love that term, codalicious. That is exciting. It's like, what is that? Because it sounds like a big piece of candy that's going to last a long time. So I love that word. Now, I wouldn't try to take coding, but it's great to get peak interest, certainly. And Justine Clark, Ariel speaking on the real. Hire with intention and a plan for growth and to promote. So as we talked about those corporate partners, the money, but also the partnership, how can those tech companies be more proactive partners in that conversation? What can they do? What guidance would you give them? And I know, you're all familiar with some of them. What can they do differently, or what should they start doing?
I mean,
Rebecca, go ahead.
I think it's real simple. I think they need to get involved. We need more people from Lilly, Cummins, Beltec Logics, Mosier, AIS, being a part of these conversations, being a part of these boards, being mentors, working into their corporations, internship programs, mentorship programs, like that. They need to take action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what that action looks like for all of them may be a little different, but to your point, get involved, take action. What is it? Go ahead, Ariel.
And I would piggyback on what Rebecca said, because I know there was an article in the New York Times about 3 weeks ago that was saying, hey, all these companies were started off with diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging a year ago when George Floyd, the murder came out and was shown. What are these companies doing now? Only 23% of those companies that came out and bought publishing and bought ad space to say, this is what you're doing, only 23% of those companies actually followed through with promises. And tech was the area that had the least percentage of that 23. Yep. So to piggyback on what Rebecca was saying, we need action. And I want to just expand it, not to just say the big companies here. We know Salesforce does a lot. We know Lilly does a lot. We know Cummins does a lot. But they often do things with one particular group, and that is your 4-year quintessential student. But tech is so much more than that. Did you know that You can graduate from 1150 in a short amount of time with not even the bill and be able to go out and earn a great salary for yourself. Did you know that you can do that at Ivy Tech with even just a certificate or a degree and earn even more money than what you think you can with less of the time, plus the support, plus the internship, plus actual staff and educators that are there to lead you through the way? Because guess what? They were where you were. Jay just said, I'm tired of this rat race. I want to teach. Yes. So just looking outside of the picture of it has to be a 4-year, you have to come with computer science, you have to have all this math and engineering. You don't necessarily have to, but also looking at startup companies as well. We're looking at you all too. We get these big notices of coming to Indiana because we're growing and we're in tech. Yes, we are. And we have staff here too. We have employees here too that could make your company even better. So just looking at the full spectrum and making sure that they're looking at the full spectrum. Just real quick, I remember when Indie Women in Tech started, the big thing was, Indiana is at a tech deficit for talent. In order for us to get to where we need to be for the tech jobs coming in, we need 10,000 tech-enabled people by 2020. And we can't have. And I would just like to tell people that is the same story today. We're past 2020. We need even more people. But guess what? It's not going to happen just with males. It's not going to just happen just with women. We need all spectrum, all color, all backgrounds, all people. This is not a time, if we want to be in tech and we want to get ahead, to be picky. Come one, come all.
That's exactly. What I do a lot of work in the diversity space. That's one of the core topics that my company does, and I've had a lot of interactions and work over the last year because the whole thing that needs to shift in our culture, in our world, is not just a fad or a one-time thing. It's a long-term sustainable thing. So you all are making some very good points. But to those points, what can companies do to establish a culture that provides the support, the visibility, and access? I mean, what can they, to be successful, to create that culture of belonging, because diversity is about numbers, inclusion is about policies and procedures to retain those numbers, and equity is about, equal access, but belonging is about changing hearts and minds. What can companies do about that? To make that culture supportive.
Tressetta, so I'll echo in here. So number one, I mean, you're right. There's a book by an author, and there was an interview that she did for this book, and they were very focused on, we're reaching out to the youth, which is important, and we have to do that. We absolutely have to. But training the youth for the next generation of tech leaders, it's not going to fix what's broken now. You have to focus on what's broken now. And if you have a broken culture, Ivy Tech, 1150, and all of the educational institutions and people that play in the space can give you all the talent you want. I guarantee you we all can. But if you can't retain it because your culture is broken, then what are we doing? And we can't wait until we raise little Noah or little Susie over here to learn how to do cloud in about 7 to 8 years. We have to fix this now. So what companies can do is really examine their culture. What's going on? And to your point, what policies are in place? And it's not just about hiring, right? Oh, we're going to hire some people. It doesn't matter. It has to be a multi-approach. So yes, you need to hire at all levels, leaders, middle, stand-ups, Zoom rooms, breakout rooms, break rooms, need to look diverse. And that means diverse, not just gender, not just color, but orientation. So, thinking about diversity and then really leaning in to have conversations with organizations like us to say, hey, you know what, we want to understand. You don't have to define and say, I get it. You probably don't. But lean in with those of us working in this space to understand more so we can help you build programs to address. We need to lean into this conversation and be very committed. And to your point, it's not about that fad. And I think that's it. Oh, well, we're going to talk about this for a hot minute, right? And then we're going to move on. What did the CEO of Snowflake just say last week in an article? Well, we have a moderated approach to diversity. I don't even know what that means. So no moderated approach to diversity. So we really need to start de-architecting those things within the culture, lean in, have conversations, and think differently about talent. And, you know, just be here with us. I mean, that to me is what they could start doing.
Excellent. DeWanda, I know you had something to share as well, right?
Yeah, I agree with Linda there and kind of echo on the lean in piece. I think what corporations need to do is understand, especially if you haven't been good at encouraging diversity and belonging in the past, it's not just going to happen, and you probably can't do it by yourself. So that's going to involve creating some new partnerships than probably they've had in the past. And expanding that network. I look back on my history and kind of how I went, and it was largely relationship network based on how I was able to get some of the opportunities I've gotten. And if corporations have a narrow network, I mean, you can easily deduce that how we've gotten to where we are with it being predominantly whites and males is because that's the networks they had, and that's the networks they pulled from, that's the networks they trusted. So they need to change that and partner with different organizations, community organizations, really dig into the community, form those partnerships, form that trust, that reciprocal trust. That way they feel comfortable when they're recruiting and they have efforts, they have more partners to go to and say, hey, I really need a superstar. Who's in your network that you can recommend my way? And vice versa. Once those community organizations and the entities that, the people of color and the women and the demographic we're going after, the entities they trust, if they can have trust for that corporation, there's a referral path as well to say, hey, here's a really great company. They're trying to do the right things. I really think you should talk to them. And then it kind of works hand in hand. But I think it starts with, like Linda said, really leaning in and break out of the traditional narrow network, reach out more, start forming those partnerships now, and working on that reciprocity.
Yeah,
exactly. Expand that network for sure. Because we know that culture is key, because we know that the best strategies, they're not going to work if that culture eats it for lunch, right? Go ahead, Rebecca. I think you were going to share.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if you can hear my dog snoring back there. I promise that's not me making those noises. Yes, I agree with everything Linda and DeWan said, and I think like candidly, the leaders, the boardrooms of these organizations need to look around. If it's all men, if it's all white people, then they need to go get educated, right, on why this is so important to have diverse perspectives and to have equity, inclusion, and belonging, and how to do it. Because one of the things that I can tell you that I've learned from being on Women in High Tech's board, which is fairly diverse, we have work to do there, but we have African American women, Latina women, we have men, we have women, we have various sexual orientations. That when we all work together and share our ideas and opinions, we get a way better result because of everybody's different perspectives and experiences. And to live that, is so different than, to talk about that. So that's why, I think the leadership groups, when they look around and there's a lot of the same, they need to go out and, to DeWan's point, network, but not just network, get educated. There's so many classes that, that we can take. The Women in High Tech board at the beginning of February of 2020, took the Interrupting Racism for Our Children by Child Advocates of Indiana. I mean, people need to go understand. and then they can make plans. I think we have too many, people in privilege and power making plans without involving anybody else, and that's never going to work.
Yes, and everything that you guys is saying is so great. I think, and you had something to share quickly, Ariel?
Just real quick, number one, create affinity groups and mentorship programs within your organization so that people can join together and work together and get to know each other. And don't put them together as, oh, all the women are here, let's put them all in one group. Let's be diverse. Let's think of other things outside of just race and gender in those terms. Put together a cooking affinity group and see how people are able to relate on something that's a hobby and not just race and gender, just to start opening up the doors, and then you can move to the heavy stuff. Second, your HR department and recruiting needs to be just as diverse as you want your organization to be. If as soon as we're coming to you to interview or seeing you at a job fair or attending a Women in High Tech event, and that's all we see, it kind of gives the perception of once we get in the door, that's all we're going to see too. Right. So make sure, as much as we're talking about diverse workforce, make sure that goes with your HR and your recruitment department as well. And then third, I'm going to be very blunt. We all have heard of organizations that have a John, and John is rude. He speaks what he wants to speak. During a certain time of the past 4 years, he has been very vocal about how he feels about maybe who was in office, or he's very vocal about how he feels about women in the workplace. But John gets to stay at his job because John's been here for 25 years and we love John. And oh, that's just how John speaks. But guess what? You've probably lost about 10 good employees because of John. So just make sure that when you are holding stock, as Linda and Dewan and Rebecca has said, of your organization, and you have that one weak link, I don't care how long they've been there, you need to either rectify the situation or you need to let them know that this is not part of our culture. And if you can't get together, you cannot be at this organization. But I will be very blunt. We get stories all the time, probably about once a month, of ladies that we are placing in organizations throughout Indianapolis. And there is always that one person where they say, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm done. And guess what? Because of that one interaction, it's not even a thought of, let me go work somewhere else. It is a thought of, well, this didn't work, let me go to hospitality. Maybe I need to go in entrepreneurship. But guess what? We're losing that diverse voice in tech because of that one person. So make sure you as an organization are emboldening your leadership to take care of that one person, to protect the others that are feeling threatened or not a piece of that culture because of this one person.
Very well stated, Ariel. And because we have about 8 minutes left, I want to ask this, because certainly we've talked about the collaborations that are going on and opportunities that exist for women and marginalized populations to get into tech, but want to talk about how specifically women and marginalized populations can be ready for those opportunities, because it's a partnership, right? We talked about partnership. Women and marginalized populations are getting ready. The partners in tech are getting ready and doing what they need to do. And everybody, and you guys are providing all these great collaborations and opportunities. What can the populations of women and marginalized do to be ready to accept, to receive those opportunities? Anyone can share. And we have about 6 minutes left, so if you can share quickly, that would be great.
So I'll just share quickly. Reach out right now. That's it. Excellent. You want to be ready. We have, all of us, IWIT, 1150, Ivy Tech, we have the resources to get you started. All you have to do is make that first connection and commit to it. Don't be afraid of it. We all get a little nervous. When I first sat for the bar, as an example, I did not pass the bar. And so, you know what? But you get up, shake yourself off. That was a shake, by the way. It wasn't a dance. Shake yourself off, and you get back up and you try it again. We have a saying in tech. It's called fail forward or fail fast. So, you know, take advantage of the situation when you're hearing this. Lean in, reach out, just say, okay, I'm ready to do this, and contact, and we'll start you on your journey. And don't be afraid if you don't get everything all at once. No one does. No one does, right? So swallow it and swallow that fear, stand up, and we've got something for you.
Great, great. And we want to give some time for questions if possible, if people have any. So very quickly, just what can women and marginalized populations do? What is the one thing they can do best? Rebecca, go ahead.
Yeah, use their voice, ask for what they want and need.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Dewan?
Yeah, be curious, just kind of Linda, be curious, get out, ask questions, look at as much information and intros to the topics and get familiar with it and just ask questions, get comfortable.
Excellent, excellent. Ariel, what can they do very briefly?
I would say ask questions like Dewan said and go on LinkedIn. You can just connect with any of us on this chat. I also listed some people in the chat as well. Hey, I am interested in tech. I don't know where to start. We can take it from there. So just making sure you're vocal and using LinkedIn to be vocal.
Excellent, excellent. And with that, please, all of you, put your contact information into the chat so those who are on here can reach out to you if they have additional questions, if you don't mind. And I'll open it up at this time. If there are questions out there, please put those in the chat. And we'd love to get those answered for you. We have about 4 minutes left. Was there anything you wanted to learn more about that someone said, or do you have a question, a specific question?
So while we're waiting for those to come up, I want to I see Ariel put in our friend Angel Henry's name. And if y'all are looking to understand, because maybe you haven't experienced challenges, or if you have and are looking for some tools, Angel just released a book. It's called Dents in the Ceiling. Read it. It is so good. You can get it on Amazon, but hurry up because it's going fast. But Dents in the Ceiling by Angel Henry, it's phenomenal and talks about, you know, experiences that women, particularly diverse women, have in tech, and then it gives tools for all people. So women, diverse women, male allies to you know, change the paradigm that we're in.
Excellent, excellent. I'm getting so much good stuff in the chat. Thank you all for sharing. Very dynamic and helpful conversation. Love the term adjacent. Is there interest in procurement with a tech specialty? So whoever would like to take that one.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say a whole division of my company, we call it, it's called a VAR, value-added reseller. And there is very big VARs all across the company organizations, like, you know, tech data is a big one. But yeah, procurement, that's a difficult role in tech for hardware and software, and you know, especially with licensing. I mean, there's a whole practice called IT asset management within the tech discipline, and yeah, that's a big job. I think everybody would agree.
Excellent, excellent. And you know, there's a good book Linda put in the chat as well. Evelyn Magley. Hey, Evelyn, says wonderful panel and discussion by all panelists. Excellent, excellent. So we are at 11:28. Is there anything, last comments that you would like to share about anything we've touched that we haven't, compelling information that they just need to know before we close?
I would say this: when you see us, you can be us, right? So we as leaders, we as code smashers, we as the people behind the cyber, you know, the firewalls, implementing cybersecurity policies, all need to stand up, look up, and be seen. We have for many years, you know, been told, work hard, keep your head down. I think all of us have probably heard that. It's time for all of us to lift our heads up, look around, high five each other, and then be seen so everyone can see that you can do this as well.
All right, I see we're at 1 minute. Anyone have any 30-second things to share?
We can't do
Go ahead,
this
Eric.
without your support. So if you are willing to give, excuse me, we all have foundations. There's the Indie Women in Tech Foundation. Women in High Tech takes donations. There's the Ivy Tech Foundation, and there's also 1150 Academy. We can't do this without financial support. So please just visit all of our websites. And if you are able to give, please do, so that we can help the next diverse group of tech talent walk in the door.
All right, and Rebecca's dogs are wanting to say their case. 30 seconds. Do you have any 30-second, Rebecca? And then we'll close with Dewan. Why don't we go ahead, Dewan, with you?
Yeah, thanks, Ariel. You hit the nail on the head. Can't do it without you with the partnerships. And then also, I would encourage if anyone's out there listening, knowing that the things we're trying to do, we want to continue to create new partnerships and new and different ones every day. So please reach out and let's discuss different ways to partner, and let's celebrate tech in the minority field. You know, much like we do celebrate our NBA stars. I want to see commercials with Tracy Barnes and celebrating tech success and things like that. And let's start changing that conversation at the dinner table around that.
All right, great. Well, we are done, guys. So in closing, I just want to thank you all for such fantastic input. And your information is in the chat if anyone needs to reach out to you. I love this quote I'll end with. Your career is what you're made for, but your purpose is what your career is what you're paid for. Your purpose is what you're made for. If your purpose to do IT, reach out to these folks. Great information. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you for joining us.